Alrighty, looking at the homework questions for 6.1. Starting with number 2, it says if two polygons are congruent, must they be similar? And that is a yes. If two polygons are similar, must they be congruent? And that one is a no. So, if two polygons are congruent, then their corresponding angles are congruent. And the scale factor is 1. If two polygons are similar, then their corresponding angles are congruent, but the sides are not necessarily the same length or have a scale factor at all. Alright, number 3, these are the two similar triangles that were given. So triangle ABC is similar to triangle LMN. And it asks for the congruent angles and then the corresponding sides proportionally. So for the angles, angle A is congruent to angle L, angle B is congruent to angle M, and angle C is congruent to angle N. And you can tell this by the picture or by the order in which they are written. Alright, and for the sides, starting with AB, instead of writing AB as congruent, because it's not, it's similar, AB over LM is equal to BC over MN is equal to AC over LN. So again, it goes in order of the way they are written, but this time they're proportions. Alright, next we have two quadrilaterals that are similar, and the smaller one is a rotated version of the first one, so it's not in the same order as it is written. The angles D and P, again, whenever I write these out, I just look at the order in which they're written in the similarity statement instead of looking at the diagrams. So D, P, E, Q, F, R, G, and S, and then for the sides, it's DE over PQ is equal to EF over QR is equal to FG over RS, and then don't forget the last one is equal to DG over PS. Alright, because there are 4 sides, so I shouldn't just have 3 statements, just like in number 3. There are 3 sides, so 3 statements. Alrighty, on to number 5. This time I'm not drawing out the figures, but I am given the similarity statement that HJKL is similar to WXYZ. Alright, so the angles in order, H and W are congruent, J and X, K and Y, and L and Z are all congruent. And then for the sides, HJ over WX is equal to JK over XY is equal to KL over YZ, and don't forget the last one, HL over WZ. And always going in that order will help you to make sure you get all of them. Number 6 says triangles ABC and DEF are similar. Which statement is not correct? I'm just going to go through the options. So letter A says BC over EF is equal to AC over DF. So that lines up. They're all in the same spots. And then AB over DE is equal to CA over FD. Those line up too. They're all in the same spots. Alright, how about CA over FD equals BC over EF? Again, that one works. Alright, so the last one, AB over EF. Those are not in the same spot, so letter D is the one that is incorrect. Number 7 is determining if the polygons are similar, and if they are, we write a similarity statement and find the scale factor. So I can see that the corresponding angles are congruent, they're all 90 degrees, and then the numbers, so 64 and 32, 32 is half of 64, and 48 and 24, 24 is half of 48, so those are similar quadrilaterals. And they go in the order RSTU is similar to WXYZ. And then since I said RSTU is double WXYZ, the scale factor would be 2/1. Number 8 is also has corresponding angles being congruent, and it is a triangle. So this one is similar, and CDE is similar to TUV, and then to find the scale factor, you would do 4/5, or 5/4, sorry, it should be 5/4 if it's written that way. Or you could do 10/8, 12/9.6. They all should give you the same scale factor. Alright, number 12, the two similar for sale signs have a scale factor of 5/3. The large sign's perimeter is 60. What's the smaller? I'm going to set up this ratio and do something called cross multiplication. So for this, you multiply across the equal sign, and it should kind of look like a butterfly or an X. So 60 times 3 is 180, equals 5 times x is 5x, and then you solve it like an equation. So divide by 5, and x equals 36. So that is my perimeter of the smaller one. You just have to make sure the 5 and the 60 are both numerators, and the 3 and then the smaller one would both be denominators. You have to keep them in the same order. For 13, we are describing and correcting the error in the perimeter. So A is similar to B. I am going to go ahead and find the scale factor, which is 2/1, and I know that by the side 10 and the side 5. If these are similar, then you would do 10/5, which reduces to 2/1. I want to know the perimeter of A before I can find the perimeter of B. So that's all the sides added up. So 10 plus 6 plus 12 is equal to 28. Now I'm going to set up those two ratios again and do the cross multiplication. So this time I have 2/1. 28 over the perimeter B equals 2/1. It can be written either way. So cross multiply, 28 times 1 is 28, and B times 2 is 2B, then divide by 2, and B equals 14. So that should be my perimeter, not what they got, which was 56. So they ended up multiplying by 2 instead of dividing by 2. Alrighty, number 14. Are the polygons always, sometimes, or never similar? Two isosceles triangles would sometimes be similar. The reason it is sometimes is that sometimes you could have the same corresponding angles, but in this scenario you do not. So these two triangles, though they are both isosceles, would not be similar. For 15, equilateral triangles would always be similar because they have the same angles, 60 degrees, all the way around. A right triangle and isosceles triangle would sometimes be similar if the right triangle is also isosceles. So they just have to have corresponding angles being congruent. And then 17 says a scalene and an isosceles. That would be never, because scalene triangles never have any angles being congruent to each other, while isosceles have at least two. And number 18, the scale factor of figure A to B is 1x. So what would it be if it's B to A? x1. And that is because if you just switch the order, then you switch the order of the ratio. So I hope that helps. Have a great one.